I'm in this game to keep pushing myself. At 42-year-old, the oldest guy in the UFC, I want to continue to keep pushing forward to try to see how good I can get, keep evolving, keep getting better. And like I said, the last 3 or 4 guys that I faced, I've been top contenders. With Buckley just fought Usman. You had Shavkat Rakhmonov. You had the Gilbert Burns, the Bilal Muhammad's, and all these studs coming up. So yeah, man, I've been in the top 5, top 10 since 2013. I think 2014. So I think that's pretty cool. Fought for the title twice. So I'm happy where I'm at. I love it, but I'm going to continue to do it as long as my body will let me.
All right, everybody. The UFC is back this Saturday. They take over Music City, UFC Nashville. Yes, and in the co-main event, my guest at this time, he returns to face Gabriel Bonfim, the one and only Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Wonderboy, good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Good, doing great, my brother. Here in beautiful Nashville, having a good time.
Yeah, it's great to have you.
Somebody's calling.
Always something with you, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. But it's great to have you back. Good to have you back in the octagon as well. This one came out of nowhere, getting a matchup with Gabriel Bonfim. When your face and his face appeared on that poster, I was like, wow, didn't see that one coming. What was your reaction to getting this matchup?
The last 3, 4 guys that I faced have all been top contenders, and I don't mind giving these up-and-coming studs a chance to kind of prove themselves. I did that with Vicente Luque, Jeff Neal. I did it with Kevin Holland. So, there's a lot of guys in the UFC, and seeing it's getting popular. The guys are trying to hold on to their spots, right? So I don't mind kind of giving back and giving these guys an up-and-coming chance because, the Jake Ellenbergers, the Johnny Hendricks, the Rory McDonalds, they gave me that shot. So you got to have somebody to let, give these guys a chance to prove themselves.
Yeah, I feel like you've been in this role for a little while now. And in fact, the most recent fight you've had, you gave that opportunity to Joaquin Buckley. And it was a very interesting fight because I thought, at least watching it live, it was going very well for you. I thought you were less than 3 minutes away from winning that fight. And then it ended the way that it ended. So looking back, what in your opinion went wrong there?
Man, it's just one of those things where you just get caught. I was out of position. He took full advantage of it. And I don't remember. I had to go back and watch. I think I was circling out at the time. He went to throw a big left hand, kind of stopped halfway and used his athleticism and explosiveness, lunged in with his right hand. Just didn't see it coming. It was one of those things like you're winning the fight until you're not. It can be very frustrating sometimes when you step back and look at it, because the same thing happened to me when I was in Nashville last time when I fought Anthony Pettis. Same thing. You're winning it and you just get clipped. So that's part of the game, man. You got to understand, and my dad always tells me this, after that, how many other people are at the end of your punches, or your highlight reels. You've been in the game long enough, it's bound to happen. So you got to move on from it and get better. And obviously we're going to be testing out my skills this Saturday against Gabriel Bonfim. So I'm ready to rock and roll, baby.
Yeah, it's your insight to these fights is pretty remarkable, because I actually thought you fought up until that point like the perfect fight, because not a lot of people are giving you a lot of chances in that fight. But with your takedown defense and the way you're able to keep guys away from you with your movement, I thought it actually, it was near perfect, right? Like, it's just such a game of inches when you think about this sport. Like, one thing just ends. Like, was the game plan? Did you guys have like a specific plan for Joaquin, and you just kind of laid it out to a T until you got caught?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, he's very explosive. He was looking to get me down. My takedown defense felt great during that fight. I got back up every time. And it was one of those things that, keep him at bay, use your angles, use your movement. And that was the goal. That was the game plan going out there for that fight. And it was just one of those things where he throws and it just lands. Nothing, a whole lot you can do, looking back on it. It's one of those things that just happens. So, like I said, it was kind of frustrating in the beginning, but because I feel like I was winning it up until that point. And of course, it just had to happen. why couldn't I just move my head a few inches this way? Why couldn't I have brought my hand up at the same time? Like, what the flip, dip? So it's like, when I think about it, a little frustrated, but you got to keep moving on, man.
And now you get Gabriel Bonfim, 4-1 in the UFC. He's got some
Yes.
good wins, some good finishes along the way as well. This could be a pretty action-packed fight, which I know is something you're always up for. I know he talked to one of my colleagues and said, look, we could do this on the ground. We could do it on the feet. We can just create all sorts of violent chaos in there. So that's music to your ears right there.
Oh, 100%. And this guy, Gabriel Bonfim, stud coming up. He's a very aggressive guy coming forward, only knows one direction, that's forward. A lot of these guys, he comes out guns a-blazing. So he waits on guys to, I think people get a little overwhelmed and they decide to shoot on this guy. And that's what he wants. Kind of like Kevin Holland. He's got great takedown defense and the fact that he can sub you. He's got long arms. He's looking to darce you. He's looking to guillotine you. And I think that's what he's waiting for. He's either that or he's trying to get me up against the fence like everybody else does. And I spent a lot of my career there. So I feel very comfortable there. And I don't mind the aggressiveness out of this guy. I've made my career off of guys that are coming straight at you. But I think he's a very intelligent fighter. He's going to have some tricks up his sleeves. And got good coaches. So I'm down for wherever, man. I'm ready for wherever the fight goes.
What I always find super interesting about you, and I use you as an example a lot, is that you don't have to do this. Like, you don't have to fight. And we talked before we went live here. You have the school and you have all these other things you're involved in. Like, you are a super busy guy. Like, you just like to do this. This is just fun for you. So this might actually be, at this point in your career, like a hard question to even answer, considering all of that. And you want to obviously be the best you could be. A win over Gabriel Bonfim. Like, where does this put you in the welterweight discussion? Does it even matter at this point for you?
I mean, I've got 2 fights left. Depending on how these fights go, whether to determine, I keep going. If I go out there and win these 2 fights and I do it in an amazing fashion, we'll keep going, man. God forbid if it doesn't work out the way I wanted to go, there are other options I can go, like the analyst job with the UFC. I don't know if you know, I'm doing a lot of that.
Yes.
Which it beats getting punched and kicked in the face, but you're still part of the game. You know what I mean? But I'm in this game to keep pushing myself. At 42-year-old, the oldest guy in the UFC, I want to continue to keep pushing forward to try to see how good I can get, keep evolving, keep getting better. And like I said, the last 3 or 4 guys that I faced have been top contenders. With Buckley just fought Usman. You had Shavkat Rakhmonov. Yeah, the Gilbert Burns, the Bilal Muhammad's, and all these studs coming up. So, yeah, man, I've been in the top 5, top 10 since 2013. I think 2014. So I think that's pretty cool. Fought for the title twice. So I'm happy where I'm at. I love it, but I'm going to continue to do it as long as my body will let me. So we'll see how these fights go.
I think this is the first time I've ever heard you even mention like a crossroads, if you will. Like, you got 2 fights left and there's options. And if they go well, like, you're going to continue on. And if they don't, you have the option to do the analyst work. Is that weird to say out loud that you're actually at this crossroads? Because again, I've never heard you say that in a decade long of conversations we've had.
It's crazy how long I've been in this game. And there's guys that are in the UFC that have been there longer, but at the same time, I've been in here for 13 years, going on 14 years, since 2012. So, as you get older, your mindset changes a little bit when it comes to the fight game. When you're in your early career, it's like, I'm just hungry. I'm hungry for everything. I'm hungry for the fight. I'm hungry for this. I'm hungry for the title. And now it's like, yeah, I've been there. I've done that. I'm ready. I feel like I physically am better than I was in the past. And, now you're a little bit more wise when it comes to stepping out there in the octagon and how you approach it. So it's cool at this point to realize what I've been through and what I've done. And I don't mind the crossroads at this point, if it doesn't go the way I wanted to go, I've got this I can do and still be a part of the UFC and still be with it and still break fighters down. And I think it's cool to be able to be there, been in the game long enough.
Yeah, I hear you. Us old dogs, us 42-year-olds just still doing the thing after all this time. It's incredible. And just kind of building upon that. Let's just say tomorrow, before the fight even starts, you're like, you know what? I'm going to do these 2 fights, decision made, and then I'm going to do the broadcast thing, which you're obviously very good at and you're learning as you go. And it's not an easy thing to do. Is there a guy in this division right now that realistically you look at and say, if it's my last fight, I have to fight this guy. This is the dude.
Dude, it's always the champ. It's always the guy holding the title, but there's not really a one guy that really sticks out,
Like Usman, Colby, because these are guys that you've mentioned in the past that you would have liked to be in there.
Usman, if I want to go, I wanted to be a striking extravaganza, if you will. Okay. You know what I mean? A Pereira, what's his name? Come on now. He just fought Ian Gary.
Oh, Carlos Praches.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be a good one, I think. I think that would be a fun fight. Both guys standing up, banging it out, not looking for the takedown, and giving the fans in the UFC what they want. You know what I mean? You go out on your shield. So I think that would be a cool one.
Couple last things before I let you go. And speaking of this welterweight division, it is a lot different looking than it was the last time we spoke. JDM, Jack Della Maddalena is the new champion. Islam Makhachev is moving up after vacating the lightweight title. What are your thoughts on Islam making this move and how he matches up with JDM?
Well, number one, if I was in the top 5, I would be very upset that this guy who just got the title is already looking at somebody from a different division. Like, if it was me, who if I'm in the top 5, more deserving than, this guy coming up, like I've been waiting here. Where's the Shavkat Rakhmanovs? Where's the Ian Garys? Where are the, these guys that Usman, who's been in the mix, is back in the mix, if you will, after beating Buckley. Like these guys, I think are more deserving of it because they've been there. Like if it was me, I would want JDM to like fight at least one more time or 2 more times if we're looking at somebody from a different weight class. Now, I think it's a good fight. I think it's a very tough fight for Islam Makhachev coming up, a bigger guy, a guy with great takedown defense, and a guy that's fought, who just won the title from somebody very similar to himself in Bilal Muhammad, cardio for days, strong grappling background. I do believe that Islam has a better striking than Usman, than Bilal does. So I think that would be interesting. But I think it's a very tough fight for Islam, for sure.
And JDM's a monster. He proved it in the Bilal fight. And then the last thing I wanted to ask you about is, you and I were talking about crossroads in this conversation, but one guy is not taking a crossroads. Dustin Poirier is about to make that walk to the octagon for the final time. He will do it in New Orleans, his home state, in front of a hometown crowd, fighting Max Holloway. I know you've watched probably every Dustin Poirier fight, some twice, some maybe even 3 times. Favorite Dustin Poirier fight, your reaction to this man calling it a career in just a couple of weeks' time?
One of my favorite was him against Dan Hooker. I think that was a brawl. Of course, he's beat Max Holloway twice. I think that's a feat on its own. I mean, Max Holloway just seemed so immortal at the time. The Conor McGregor fight, what he did to Conor was just epic. The dude has fought everybody. I don't know if we fought I think he came in 2011. I don't remember if it was 2011 or 2012. I know me and Max Holloway, we actually had our debut on the same day.
Oh, no,
UFC 143. Yep. He
fought Dustin, right?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah. And so I think that was pretty cool. But I think those were my favorite ones of his. Was the Dan Hooker. That was just a brawl. And of course, what he did to Conor McGregor was dope. So I've always been a huge fan of Dustin Poirier, man. He's been there, been in the game for a long time. He's a veteran. He's fought some of the who's of the division and just been there, man. I love it. I love to see him, take that path out. And I wonder what he's going to do afterwards. Is he still going to be an ambassador for the UFC? He's going to do any kind of analyst work? Like, I'm not sure. We'll see.
You and Poirier on the desk would be
a pretty
good combination right there.
I think it would be fun.
Well, much like your fight with Gabriel Bonfim, that will be a lot of fun. UFC Nashville this Saturday. Co-main event, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Looking forward to it. Great catching up with you, sir. And we'll see you in that octagon this Saturday.